Good evening. Welcome home. I hope. Oh boy. We're starting off strong with technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. Daggone. Oh man. Good evening again. Welcome home again to my home. I'm at my house today. My name is Daniel Brower. I use he, she, or they pronouns, and I am the transitional minister at First Christian Church of Decatur. Welcome to the very first live 601 of 2026. 2020, 601. That's nothing. Forget I said it. Oh man, first week of the year we had some technical problems, worse than the ones we just had. Second week we featured Chalice Thrift. And now here we are together on the third Wednesday, and we are still having technical difficulties. I'm going to keep talking and just hope you guys can hear me. That's kind of what I've been doing for the past 3 years. Can you believe it's been 3 years since we started talking, like, more or less live every single week, more or less? How many more times can I say more or less? Whew. It's wild how much things can change over time. And ironically, it's also wild how much they can stay the same. If you don't look around every so often, you might not even notice the world is turning. I read a poem by J. Holm this morning about a saint that went into a cave to pray. And it said that one day he looked up and the trees were older than expected, and the riverbanks shifted by the years. And sometimes I think it might be kind of wonderful to just be so lost in prayer and communion with God that you forget the world around you and just exist in that space where the divine is able to speak with you in the stillness of your own heart and mind. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a nun, partially because the sound of music made it look really cool, and partially because that kind of set-apart closeness is something that's still very tempting to me. Then again, there's another kind of communion with God that can only happen in concert with other people. Silent prayer and solo meditation are beautiful and holy things, and there is something equally beautiful and holy about working alongside other human beings, serving with them, singing with them, talking with them, and just kind of being with them through all walks of life. That kind of belonging, togetherness is a powerful thing, and it's part of why I chose the path that I did. Ministry of out rather than in, if you will. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm placing one over the other. I don't want it to make it sound like one is more valuable than the other. Each form of devotion has its place. God has used sages and monks just as much as she's used prophets and fishermen. There are 1,000 ways to meet God, to see the face of God, and to learn what it is that the divine would have you do or be or say. And each person must come to it on their own and discover how it is that God speaks with them best. It's one reason why we have as many churches as we do. It's a reason why we exist as disciples of Christ. Everyone has to find their own way into connection and wholeness, the way that fits them in their context, and what makes their heart glad and opens the way for the divine to speak to them. And that doesn't always look the same for everyone. That difference is something to be celebrated, not something to be frightened of, which I realize that is a controversial thing to say. Like I said, the more times change, the more they stay the same. We have long been a culture that has vilified difference and glorified conformity. But I find that it's in the non-conforming, in the odd and unique and creative, in the unexpected, that God shows up the most. I mean, that's how Jesus lived his whole life, right? Not quite fitting in with the rest and bearing the image of God into silence and chaos alike. The big love of Christ covers a multitude of expressions, and everyone is welcomed into that love. In this time of fear and difference, I think that it's less important that you conform to a certain way of being with God. It's less important that you go to my church. It's less important that you speak my creed. It's less important that you follow these rules. It's more important that you look up and look around. See what is happening in the world. And listen to discover your place in it. How are you being called into communion with God? It might be through prayer and silent meditation. It might be through civic action, marching in the streets, you know? It might be through feeding your neighbors. It might be through hiding your DoorDash driver from ICE. It might be giving your money to support causes that support others. I could spend the next, 30 minutes just kind of naming ways that you can be in connection with God and neighbor. There are so many ways to live out our faith. I had a commander one time who just insisted that there were no wrong ways to do things, just different ones. And every time we'd come up with something that he thought was too weird, he'd go, "That's a method." So there's a million of them. What's your method? Again, it matters less how you live out your calling to God and neighbor. The most important thing is that you do it at all. That you don't stick your head in the sand and wait for this to be over, but instead to take an active role in the healing and helping of our community and our world. The times may be much the same as they ever are, but we can't be. This is not a time to wait it out. This is not a time to be passive. This year is a time to get serious about what our faith really means. To connect with God and our neighbors in real and tangible ways that make a difference in the world. And again, that looks different for everybody. And you're allowed to try things out and see what works for you. If, for example, you want to try out maybe a church that's going through some changes, that's still discovering who they want to be, and are still intentional about connecting and becoming and discovering and living out Christ's call to love, mercy, and justice. If you are interested in a congregation like that, might I suggest First Christian Church of Decatur. First Christian Church of Decatur meets at 10:25 on Sunday mornings. Now, typically, we would be in our sanctuary because our heat does work. However, I hear that it's supposed to ice storm really, really badly this weekend. So please watch this space to see whether we'll be in person or not. We'll probably make the call on Saturday as it's happening, as we're monitoring the weather situation. But no matter what happens, we will be live somewhere. We'll keep you informed, and we'll have something right here, same bat time, same bat channel, no matter what the weather turns out like, unless we lose power, in which case that silent prayer and meditation that I was talking about in the depths of no power and no phones, that might be your better bet for Sunday morning. But typically, Sunday at 10:25. As soon as I know, you'll know. And here's something else that you can know, because I know. God made you special. God loves you very, very much. And so do I. I miss talking with y'all live. I look forward to doing it more, and I hope you have a good night. I also hope this video worked. Good night, everyone.